Boulder's top stories this week. City Council receives 2011 recommended budget. Voters to decide on a franchise replacement tax. Medical marijuana business deadlines approaching. And Boulder Police and BVSD conduct a joint training exercise. Hi, I'm Andrew Barth. First up this week, the 2011 budget season is officially underway. City Council received the city manager's recommendation earlier this week in preparation for a study session on Tuesday, August 24th. The recommended $230 million budget holds expenditures nearly flat with a 0.05% change in city spending. According to the city manager, the city is proposing to restructure several programs and reduce expenses based on a year-long analysis of programs and services, recommendation of citizen advisory boards, and direction from City Council. The combination of budget reductions and the reorganization will result in a net decrease of 19.74 full-time equivalent positions for 2011. City Manager Jane Brodigam said steps taken by the city over the past few years to close the structural funding gap and its efforts to maximize efficiencies have maintained Boulder's fiscal position during the recession. The city plans to continue eliminating service duplications, centralizing administrative functions, and scrutinizing vacancies to make sure that staffing resources reflect the needs and finances of the city. The 2011 recommended budget continues funding for critical services such as police, fire, and human services. City Council is expected to start considering the recommended budget on August 24th, and you can watch the council discussions here on Channel 8. In addition, this week, Boulder City Council confirmed that it will place a local tax question on the ballot, asking voters to support a utility occupation tax that will replace $4.1 million a year the city had been receiving as a result of a franchise with Xcel Energy. The city has decided to let that franchise lapse at the end of 2010. Xcel will still be required to provide gas and electricity to Boulder customers, so the decisions to go out of franchise will have no impact on energy services. However, the decision could still have significant financial consequences. Under the franchise, Xcel collected a 3% fee from its ratepayers and passed that money on to the city's general fund. This revenue has been used to pay for core services, including police, fire, libraries, parks, human services, and public works. To offset this lost revenue, Council voted to put a replacement tax on the ballot. The utility occupation tax on Xcel Energy would generate $4.1 million, the same amount as the yearly franchise fee. It is expected that Xcel would pass this cost on to its consumers, just as it does the franchise fee. This measure is designed to keep costs at the same levels that Boulder residents and business owners would have been paying anyway, while helping to keep the city's budget whole. The tax would last 5 years. If this measure fails, City Council will have to consider a contingency budget with $4.1 million in additional cuts. The city's budget team is working on this contingency plan, and details are expected to be discussed at a council study session on September 28th. For more information on the recommended budget and the utility occupation tax initiative, check out the city's website and turn to us for more coverage in the weeks to come. Also this week, the city is once again reminding community members who are seeking to open a medical marijuana business that application deadlines are approaching. Medical marijuana business licenses are required for any business that involves medical marijuana, not just retail dispensaries. Under the new provisions, all new medical marijuana businesses are required to apply for a license before opening. Businesses that were operating prior to August 3rd have until August 31st or October 31st to submit an application, depending on a set of criteria that is available on the city's marijuana licensing website. For retail businesses, including dispensaries, when an application is filed can be especially important. Under city code, only 4 of these types of businesses can exist within 500 square feet of others in appropriately zoned territory. This means there may be a limit to the number of businesses allowed in any particular location. The city is currently researching which of the 291 businesses that have been granted sales and use tax licenses so far are currently in business. This process will include the creation of a new map, which will show where legal businesses have been established. The priority for new applicants who wish to open medical marijuana retail businesses will be determined in the order in which their applications were received. A new medical marijuana business application center has been set up on the first floor of the municipal building at 1777 Broadway and is open during normal city business hours. Applications, instructions, checklists, comment forms, and FAQs can be found on the city's medical marijuana website. In police news, the city's police department recently conducted a unique training exercise in a joint effort with the Boulder Valley School District. On Friday, August 13th, uniformed police officers with unloaded guns and safety shields entered school buses that were full of BVSD bus drivers at Fairview High School. The goal of the training was to inform drivers about what a police response would look like in an emergency situation and what they could do to help officers defuse a potentially dangerous situation on a school bus. The exercise was the first ever BVSD employee training session on school bus safety in emergency situations. Both the school district and police officers agreed that it was a beneficial exercise for both law enforcement and the drivers, important players in keeping school kids safe. You can connect with Inside Boulder News on Facebook by submitting news tips and questions. Just search for City of Boulder Channel 8. That's it for this edition of Inside Boulder News. I'm Andrew Barth. Stick around for more Inside Boulder right after this.